Hiya, my name is Matt and this is my channel, Beer, Wood, Bigfoot, Ghost, where I talk about anything that has to do with one of those four topics, beer, wood, Bigfoot, ghost. So today's video is going to be under the heading of ghost, or more broadly defined as paranormal, and we're going to talk about unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, or what my generation used to call UFOs, unidentified flying object. So I was recently up in New Jersey visiting family and friends, and I went over to a friend's house for dinner, and there was a few people there, and they said, hey, I've got something that may interest you, and they showed me two separate videos taken in the same evening of UAP footage, or what they believe to be unidentified aerial phenomena. But before we get into that, and I show you those two videos, what are we drinking? We are going to drink, in honor of this being a extraterrestrial, whatever strange things in the sky, we're going to drink a Sierra Nevada Cosmic Little Thing IPA. And this comes in, it's a double IPA, so it comes in around 8.0%. It is dry hopped with several different hops, Comet, Strata, and Helios hops. That's Comet, Strata, and Helios hops. And I can't remember ever having anything with Comet or Helios in it. Strata, fairly common. And we're going to drink it out of an Expedition Bigfoot, the SASQUATCH Museum, which is up in Blue Ridge, Georgia. If you've never been up there, never checked it out, and if you're a fan of all things Bigfoot like I am, go check it out. That is Expedition Bigfoot, the SASQUATCH Museum. All right, let's pour this beer. All right, start out slow. Let's go big. Let's get that head built up. All right, that's a 19.2 ounce can. Oh man, we're starting to overflow over my shop floor. Hey Ed, this is not a perfect pour. Regardless, we're going to drink it. Okay, so about a week ago, I was up in New Jersey, like I said, visiting family and friends, went to this dinner party, and they pulled out the footage. So I'm going to show that to you now. A couple things to keep in mind. First of all, this dates back to August of 2023, so that's roughly 2 years ago, and I'll tell you why I think that's important. The second thing is I took or disconnected the audio from these two videos. And the reason for that is there were a number of people at this party when the footage was shot, and I don't have the permission for all those people to have their voices included in my video. So talking to my close friend, he said, hey, maybe it's best if we just take that out. Now, I've listened to the original audio, and you can hear nothing that apparently is emanating from that UAP or UAPs. And in fact, my good friend said that nobody that was at that particular barbecue in the backyard that evening heard anything coming from this light in the sky. Let's watch the videos. Okay, and talking to my friend, this is all the information that I gleaned from him. So it was on August 20 of 2023 at about 8:45 p.m. There were the videos, those two different videos you watched showed two different UAPs. However, they believe there was upwards of 12 that they saw that evening. I only have the video footage from those two objects. So there were at one point two objects in the sky, and that's why you see the camera footage kind of move from left to right. And so I want to make sure I'm clear about that, because that's not that UAP moving fast off into the horizon. That's the camera user moving the camera in order to see the second object. So there were apparently two in the sky. This occurred in central New Jersey in Monmouth County, which is a very large county, not too far from the water as far as the crow flies. I was able to go to the National UFO Reporting Center, and I could not find any sightings listed by them on August 20, 2023. Now, that does not mean nobody else saw this. In fact, if you're out there and you saw it, hit me in the comments below, please. I'd like to find out what you saw that night. And again, there was no audible noises, according to the witnesses there, no audible noises emanating from those objects. All right, drinking that cosmic thing from Sierra Nevada. Okay, so I went through and I looked at the National UFO Reporting Center for any documented UAPs in that evening in Monmouth, New Jersey, and there were none. In fact, there were none for anywhere in central New Jersey for that night. And so what you've got is you've got this kind of red ball blinking in the background, okay? And we'll get into what we think that may be. But right now, it's just a UAP. We don't know it to be an airplane. We don't know it to be a drone. We don't know it to be anything other than a UAP. So if you all recall, back in November and December of 2024, there was this mass hysteria in the state of New Jersey about all of these UAPs everywhere, right? So day after day, for going on almost a month-long news cycle, there was constant social media stuff. There was television news reporting. There were government officials being called, etc. There was a big hysteria, okay? And it was all about this massive amount of UAPs being all seen at the same time. So what's interesting is we're now into July of 2025. You don't hear any more about that mass hysteria that took place. All of a sudden, poof, it all went away, right? So one of my favorite paranormal shows, if you watch my previous videos, is Project Fear. In fact, I'm wearing their swag right now. There's one of their shirts, Paranormal Explorer from Project Fear. Back in, I think it was early January 2025, they put out two different videos capturing the footage and work they did coming into New Jersey, the four-person team, in order to kind of document what everybody was talking about. And I think they're true to form, Project Fear, in that they try to debunk as much as they could. They had a flight tracker up, so if they saw something in the sky, they'd be able to say, well, that matches up with an airplane that's flying into Newark Airport or maybe going out towards LaGuardia or JFK, etc. So they were pretty good about that, but they did come up with, and they discussed a bunch of footage that people had taken during that November, December, and I think they were actually filming in late December of 2024. Anyways, if you haven't seen that, check out those two episodes on Project Fear. All right, so this all kind of dies down, right? We don't even talk about it today. When then President-elect Trump was waiting to take office, he came out and basically bashed, condemned the current administration then about their lack of transparency and telling everybody what this was all about, saying the government knew what it was, but they won't tell you. Well, President Trump gets into the office in late January, and then his press secretary by the name of Caroline Leavitt came out with the following statement. I'll read it to you. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy. That's an official statement from the White House. I remember at the time watching the news footage, and anywhere from the governor's office all the way down to the local police departments, they were being driven crazy because report after report after report was coming in, and the police have got to do their job. They've got to, whether you're a local police officer or sheriff or state, you've got to do your job and you've got to respond to these calls. And so you can imagine this massive uptick in reporting was quite the resource drain on our law enforcement officials in the state of New Jersey at the time. And you heard a lot of complaints all the way from the governor's office to the state senators to their Congress people. Everybody was complaining about it. Why is there no transparency? Why are we not getting any answers? The government was putting out very little at the time, and then later, under the Trump administration, they put out that statement. Take another sip. Look at that. I'm telling you what, if you've never been up to Expedition Bigfoot, you got to go visit it. They've got, it's an incredible experience to go up there and see this. All right, here's a stat for you. So, the FAA put out that in 2024 alone, that the number of commercial and recreational drones operating in the United States at large, was estimated to be approximately 2.8 million. So that's in 2024, 2.8 million commercial and recreational drones are operating in the United States. Now that's the stuff that's reported, or maybe flight plans or notices were filed, right? They're not talking about the general user, right? So I've got an action cam, I'm recording my video. What if I had a drone and I put it over my house, or I flew through the neighborhood and took some footage? If I did that at night and it emanated light, would somebody report that? So this is not the first time that people in the state of New Jersey have gotten a little crazy about objects in the sky or reported objects in the sky. Go back to 1938, and Orson Welles, on his radio show, did a thing called War of the Worlds, where he, live, in the middle of the evening, was talking about UFOs landing in what is called Grover's Mill, New Jersey. So this is from a journalist named David Zimmer, and I'll just kind of captions this really well. David Zimmer noted that New Jersey has a long-standing association with tales of the strange and surreal. In 1938, residents in New Jersey panicked after mistaking the fictional CBS radio drama, The War of the Worlds, for an actual alien invasion of Grover's Mill. My son, my wife, and I, back during COVID, when you go and stir crazy in a house, took a trip out to Grover's Mill, visited that park where the alleged landings had taken place, and we saw that markers out there. See the picture here. If you've never done that, it's kind of cool. In fact, in every state, there's a website, and I know there were books written as well, but there's a website called Atlas Obscura, which kind of identifies things in each state that are kind of interesting, make you kind of go, huh? And that could be anything from a farmer's field where the guy stacks cars or a giant ball of cotton or whatever. But Atlas Obscura for New Jersey does list that site where the War of the Worlds, Grover's Mill, apparently landed. So that's kind of cool. I'll put a link to the website here. When I travel to different states, I often check Atlas Obscura, and I go out and visit some of those sites. And there's a lot of really cool things that happen in New Jersey. New Jersey and Bell Labs and a number of commercial enterprises there kind of were leading the industry back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s with technology. And so New Jersey's got a long-standing history with technology advancements. Check out Atlas Obscura. I'm going to talk about my theories at large about that mass hysteria, and then I'll talk specifically about these two videos. So I think what you had is a situation where there were legitimate drone or airplane or otherwise activity, stuff that's supposed to be in the air flying around. And then once those reporting uptick happened, you probably had a number of people kind of jump on the bandwagon, pull the drones out, shoot them up in the air, kind of join in, right? Because they wanted to be part of something larger than themselves. The other thing is this activity is happening all the time, right? So theory two is it's always going on, but we only pay attention to it at certain times. And once it starts making the news media outlets, maybe your average Joe citizen or Jane citizen decides, I'm going to start paying attention and I'm going to call these sightings in, right? I bet if we went out there tonight in central New Jersey or anywhere in New Jersey or anywhere in the United States and looked up into the sky, I bet we would all see something that made us go, huh, UAP. Does that mean it's an alien race flying some advanced technology to Earth? No, it could be something that you just can't explain because you don't know what it is. That's kind of a working theory that I'm under. Specifically, these two videos, in talking to my good friend and some of the other party goers that were there back on August 20th of 2023, nobody is saying this is a flying saucer or alien activity. They just don't know what it is. They know that normally planes have certain blinking lights on tail and nose. They know what the flight patterns are that go in and out of Newark Airport. I mean, when I lived there for 20 plus years and I would drive home from New York City down the New Jersey Turnpike towards central New Jersey, you could see in the early evening hours all the planes lined up on approach coming in. And if you didn't know what that was, it would look like there's 20 faint lights all coming in a line towards the turnpike because the Newark Airport is just off to the side of the turnpike itself. So going back to the video, nobody's alleging that these are something crazy. They just don't know what it is, and they thought it'd be interesting to me. And so I'm doing this video because I think it'd be interesting to you too. It's not a leap to, if you believe in the paranormal, whether that's ghosts, spirits, sometimes people put Bigfoot under that category. I don't necessarily do that, but some people do. Or if you're talking about UAPs and everything else, it's not a stretch to want to believe that there's something else out there beyond us, right? This human race with our animal kingdom isolated in a small blue sphere, rotating in a galaxy and out into the universe. I think most people think there's got to be something out there beyond us. I'll leave you with that. All right, another drink. If you never tried this cosmic little thing, IPA, it's pretty tasty. Okay, let's leave you with two thoughts that I always do, and that is, first, support your local breweries and tap rooms. Get out there in today's economy, go buy a beer, meet some people, play some trivia, listen to some music, whatever's going on there. Go out and support your local breweries and tap rooms. I think that's important to your community. And also, the struggle is real. I don't care who you are, what lot in life you have, how much money you have, how little money you have, what you do for a living, the old terminology, white collar, blue collar, none of that matters. All of us have our challenges. All of us have those obstacles get in our way. All of us are emotionally and behaviorally affected by life. It's that simple. If you're struggling, the struggle's real for you. Seek help. Talk to family and friends. Seek out a health professional. Just don't bottle in, hold it in. That's basically it. Support your local breweries and tap rooms, and the struggle is real. My name is Matt. This is my channel. Beer, wood, Bigfoot, ghosts, maybe UAPs. I don't know. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching.